Today I have a big honor to interview one of my rock and metal influences, sitting here with the guys from Nazareth. Thanks for your time that you're spending with me here for an interview. But before we start to dig a bit in the history of Nazareth, I want to talk a little bit about the newest release, Big Dogs. When did you start to begin with the writing process?
Well, that started pretty much after the news came out. Everybody was thinking about making another album. So the writing stuff sort of started then. And demos were getting made between tours and stuff like that. And eventually got a collection of songs, mainly which Jimmy and Lee wrote. And that's the ones we went with because they were the ones that sounded the best. And when the demos were pretty good, were really pretty good quality stuff. Jimmy and Lee both make good demos. And so we took them in the studio and listened to them all and decided, yeah, that's the one. And just started recording them, really, you know. So it was really quite sort of.
It's probably about 2 years ago we started, you know, they started writing songs, and yeah, we had time to do it, you know, so it was good. It was pretty easy actually.
Because we were talking about the newest release and songwriting, who is nowadays or still responsible for the songwriting?
With the band, generally speaking, you know.
Everybody.
Yeah, because even Lee and Jimmy and Pete are all songwriters. I mean, they all are songwriters. Ari a song or two, but I mean, the boys are quite prolific songwriters. But what they do is they write songs for Nazareth. You know, so it sounds like us. You know what I mean? They do other stuff that we wouldn't use or we can't use. You know, but the ones that they want to do with the band, the boys are right in that vein, so that it will suit our approach to music and my voice, I guess. You know? So that's kind of how the boys write the songs, is to suit the band.
It all depends. It really just depends who comes up with the best tracks, you know. And sometimes, well, with the news, there's 3 or 4 from somebody, 3 or 4 from somebody else, 3 or 4 from somebody else. But this time it just happened that Jimmy and Lee came up with the best songs. And it was like, okay, that's the ones we'll take, you know.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the songs. I mean, if everybody is okay with the songs, so there's no generally a song which is your personal favorite?
What's difficult when you're recording an album is every song is your personal favourite, because we try to take a song at a time and you give it like 100% of your effort and whatever for that particular song. Then once you've got what you want with that, it's next, you know, and then you do the same thing. So after it's been mixed, it's when you really start to pick what you think is your favourite, you know. So
I've not got a favourite song on this one yet, because it's not been out long enough, you know. But I mean, you do start to listen to one more than others. I think, well, on this one, I love When Jesus Comes to Save the World Again. I like Big Dogs. That track, I like that. I like Radio as well. But I like, at the moment, I like them all. It's good. So, you know, it takes a wee bit of time, you know, when you listen to it, and then you find out later on, if you do listen to the record, which we very rarely do when we're listening to our own stuff, you'll find the one that you go, oh, you keep playing that one, you know.
So you said yourself, after a long time, you choose a song for yourself.
yeah.
When we're talking songs in generally, the influences in the lyrics. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh well, it's whoever writes the song, it's their influences, right? I mean, like Big Dogs, I had a bit to do with the start of that one and the lyrics and stuff, but Lee finished it up. And it's just about a guy, you know, going out and having a really good night, but he knows he's going to pay for it the next day, you know, sort of thing, you know.
So you think, or you say...
That's what we're doing. Originally the idea was going to be about I don't know what you call it in Austria, like a stag party. You know, if a guy's getting married, his friends they come out the week before and they get him fucked up.
Okay.
Well, originally it was going to be about that, but it ended up just being about one guy.
We call it Poltan in Austria.
There you go, stag party at home.
Okay.
And it was originally going to be about that, but it's just about this guy that goes out and he's just bored with his life, you know, he's going into work every day, he's coming home and he doesn't do anything and he's like, then he goes out and tries to be young again, I suppose, or whatever, you know.
I think because we were talking about the lyrics and so on, Big Dog sounds a little bit much more modern, rougher, and even more raw than the news. But there are also songs like, which sounds, your songs, typical songs from the 70s, or much clearer.
Yeah. Well, that's what we wanted. I mean, it was like Jimmy, our guitar player, him and Jan, the guy that did the news, they co-produced the record together, and they wanted a more raw, so that when we play it live, it sounds like the record, because there is only like 3 musicians up there, you know. So that's kind of what we went for. We went for a more sort of open, sort of raw sound, you know. Obviously there are overdubs on it, but I mean not too many. And lyrically, the songs are all about different things. So I mean, like for instance, when No Mean Monster,
it's about an old album we had, you know, No Mean City, the guy that we used to have on the T-shirt and everything, and then of course this is him coming alive, you know, and that you rewrote that one, and then you got one where it's what's the one? It's kind of
Jimmy's one,
thing.
Time and Tide.
Time and Tide, and they've all got different. They're all different subjects, you know, which is good fun actually. It's quite funny actually, because some of these songs, you know, when the guys are just singing them and you're playing, and you're not really listening. Well, I'm not really listening too much to the lyric, just
try to get music song.
Yeah. But then when if you have to go in and do some backing vocals or something, then you put the lyric sheet in front of you, and I'm going to go like, oh, this is really good, because this is the first time I've actually read, you know, the lyric. Oh, is that what that's about? You know.
Let's start in order to dissect your career a little bit. As far as I know, you have started in 1966 as a cover band, is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
And Fat Man from your first album, is that or for me, I heard it should be a dig at Black Sabbath's Iron Man, which sounds very similar and very heavy. What can you tell us about that?
No, Fat Man was a bit of first manager actually. He was a fat man. He was a big, fat, jolly guy.
Yeah, because it sounds like that. It sounds very.
He was written about Bill. He was a manager, you know, and we thought,
he's a very enthusiastic man for a big guy. He bounced around a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's deceased now. And that's what that was about. It's nothing to do with Black Sabbath.
I never even knew that Black Sabbath had I mean, if you're telling me the truth, the only songs I know from Black Sabbath is Paranoid. The rest I don't know, because I've never listened to them.
After all the years, your secret of success was not going down in any way. When I think back, I saw you 2 times in 2004 and 2008 in Salzburg, and all the shows were sold out. How can you explain that? Is there a secret you can betray us?
I don't think so. I think what people see in our music, quite honestly, is we've got humour anyway, we have a laugh about things. But I think we're basically honest. We tend to write about things we know about, and that, you know, that would relate to you, or my brother, or you know, whoever. You know, we don't write about spiritualness or you know, something we really don't know anything about. You know, we just write about what ordinary people live with every day. You know, that's kind of what we write about, and I think that appeals to people. And we've not got any hype about us. You know, we don't try to, you know, win the most handsome guy in the world competition or anything like that, or we don't have any frills or hype. And I think people dig that. I think people think, well, that's good.
That's the thing you bring to your show, as I can say, as a fan, when you're visiting a concert and you're watching your show, that's what you're bringing out to the people. That's, I think.
And I think that's why people like us, is because we're pretty honest, you know.
See, I think that most of the time, our music should be performed live. A record's fine. Everybody can make a record. You can make a record. You know, he can make a record. Everybody can make a record. And people will make it sound good because it's easy in a studio. But the truth tells when you get up on the stage, and that's when you want to play the thing, you know. And I've always thought that the stuff that we've written always sounds, I think it always sounds better when we play it live than it does on the record.
The thing is, most of the stuff we write with that in mind, that we're going to have to perform it live. Because, I mean, we're never going to be darlings of the press. We're never going to be favourite on music television. So, the only advertising that we have, really, is radio, if they'll play us, which is very rarely these days, unless it's a classic rock station, and playing live. Yeah.
It's very funny when you're recording, you know, sometimes you're recording and you go, well, we better put a bit of overdub there and a bit of overdub there, but the record company will like that, you know, they'll go like that, but we won't play it like that. You know?
We were talking about hype and radio station and so on. I mean, your biggest commercial success were with singles. As
yes, of course.
Think back, much often with ballads like Dream On and Love Hurts, while your albums on your concert showed you showed a different side of yourself. And someone who didn't know more about the single was really perhaps surprised about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they were. I'm sure in the early days they were.
Well, I mean, it was one of the great examples of that is in America on the Hair of the Dog album, which is an incredibly heavy album, but the big hit was Love Hurts. And all these guys went out and they bought them for their wives, you know, these middle-aged guys, and bought the album for their wife because it had Love Hurts on it. Well, God knows what she must have thought about Miss Misery and, you know, the other songs that were on it, you know, and that was the ballad thing. The thing is, we like so many different kinds of music amongst us, and we like to sort of cover the spectrum, if you like, you know, and we'd never be happy just going out and doing the same thing, you know, through a whole album. I would get...
It'd be boring.
Yeah,
and I think the fans would be bored.